All right. You ready?
Reddit.
Okay. Oops. Let me do this. Okay. Okay. What's that one?
The estate for a remainder of somebody's life.
Good.
The appraisal is uh, guesstimate of the market value.
Is it the actual value?
No.
Good.
1031 exchange. Whenever you're kind of postpone your taxes, as long as you buy another equal or more expensive property.
Good. So you take the money, you put it into a new property. Excellent.
Shadow personal property.
You've been studying.
Oh yeah.
Good for you.
Inverse is whenever you sue the government for whenever it's like eminent domain.
Good.
Police powers like zoning and any other regulations for the good of the community.
What are the other three government powers?
Eminent domain, escheat, and taxation.
Excellent. Good job.
Oh, short rate. I think it deals with your with the interest rate.
Good. It has to do with actually it has to do with insurance. It has to do with
Sure.
when it gets prorated, you don't get the full amount back if you cancel early.
Right.
That one doesn't come up that much, don't worry. This one does though.
43,560.
Yeah, gotta know that one.
Injunctions, I guess, will be a any kind of court ordered.
Yeah, it's a court order to stop.
Okay, court order stop. Fixture is any kind of personal property that became real property.
Good. Do you remember the test for a fixture?
Maria.
Excellent. What does that stand for?
Method, adaptability, relationship, intent, and agreement.
Good.
Protection period clause is the clause at the bottom of a employment uh, agency listing, where basically if you sign up for, let's say, 60 days and you find a buyer or the same buyer decides to buy after that 60-day period, it protects you so you get your commission.
Right. So it gives you a chance to close deal with people, but not find somebody new.
Okay.
Does that make sense? I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I
yeah.
think we're saying the same thing.
Yeah. Just zoning is regulations from police power, whether it's commercial or residential.
Good.
Easement is the right to use somebody else's land.
Good. To get to your own, right?
Right.
I guess you don't even need to get your own. Could be a. Is there a type of easement where you're not trying to get to another property?
Um, I guess a gross easement.
Excellent. Nice work. Easement and gross. Yep.
Easement by prescription. Not quite stealing, but something on the same line of if you're using somebody's land and everybody knows it and nobody tells you no,
Good.
and after a certain
The
amount of time.
word they look for this is hostile to the true owner's title. is the fancy way of saying it.
Okay.
But you're exactly right.
Negative. More. I can't even speak right now. I think that's whenever you pay just the interest and the remaining bill is due at the end of the.
That would be a straight note.
Mm,
So this would be if you don't even cover the full interest.
okay.
All right, so your debt keeps going up.
Right. Economic absolutes. That's whenever it's outside your property and it makes it go down or up.
Good. Well, it goes down. It's a form of depreciation.
Okay. Cost replacement approach is something that an appraiser uses on buildings like churches and schools and or old buildings.
Do you know why?
New buildings. Churches or schools because there's not hardly any in there or not that many in the area, so they can't do a like a market approach.
Good. So just seeing how much it would cost to replace it brand new.
Mm-hmm. A lease is an equitable right to a property.
Is it personal or real property?
I guess it'll be real.
The actual lease is personal
The
property.
lease itself, yeah, the lease itself, personal.
Yeah.
Severalty is just owning it, one person.
Good.
Voluntary lien would be like a mortgage.
Good.
Involuntary lien would be a like a mechanic's lien.
Good.
Joint tenancy is the right of survivorship.
Good.
Well,
That has, and there's also something else. It has the four unities.
Yeah, to tip, time, title, interest, possession.
Good job, man. You've been studying for sure.
Yeah, I don't feel like paying that $73 every time. Constructive notice. It's either two or two. What's popping in my head is like a constructive eviction whenever the landlord isn't doing their part.
Good. It's exactly what it is.
Okay.
Construction eviction is a form of construction notice.
Filing a lien and is pending on
Good. So
it's
it's
pending
just
lien.
lawsuit pending.
Lawsuit pending. Structured eviction, same thing. If the landlord isn't doing their part, then it allows the tenant to vacate the premises without paying rent.
Okay. Good.
Executed contract is it's a done deal. Everything's signed over and
And both parties are performed.
both parties have performed. Redlining is your whenever you're trying to get a loan and it Basically, not being able to get a loan because your race or national origin or sex, anything other than your credit score.
Good. They do it a lot by region.
What do you mean?
Like they pick out areas that have, let's say, minority community. They
Mm-hmm.
will circle that area and not lend to people in that area.
Oh,
And they'll
okay.
pick that area based upon things that you mentioned, which are
Okay.
not okay.
It's cheats whenever government takes government takes your property whenever you have no heirs or will.
Okay.
Combinations, the fair price that the government gives you whenever they confiscate your land.
Okay, good. It's actually the process of taking it away.
The process of taking it
Yeah,
away.
condemnation.
Mm,
But you're right. Then in that process, they're giving you the proper compensation.
gotcha. Interest is the money that you pay for being allowed to borrow money.
Good. I've call it like rent on money.
Yeah. Market data approach is something that appraisers use to get their fair market value or market opinion on your
Good.
property. Um, it runs with the land forever.
Yeah, and going back to that market data approach, that
Mm-hmm.
just means you're using comparables. That's the most important thing about
Variables.
it.
Okay. Yeah. Mm. Gross multipliers. Is that whenever they use the rent to find out the price of the or their
Yeah, just remember price divided by rent.
price divided by rent?
Price divided by rent gives you a gross rent multiplier.
Okay. Americans with Disability Acts is a part of the fair housing, and
Good. So that was like 1990, and it's why we have ramps and stuff on the buildings.
mhm, and 15 employees or less. General liens are liens against your property and your possessions. So
Good
real.
against all property.
Okay.
So what would be an example of that?
I guess if you foreclose and your price of the house doesn't get you the amount that they need.
That would still be a specific lien.
Okay.
So a general lien would be like income taxes.
Okay.
That's when they're coming after everything.
Quitclaim deed is whenever there might be a cloud on the title, and you can you can get a quitclaim deed to receive the title
Good.
clear.
A quick claim is just transferring interest.
Okay.
It's the easiest way to transfer interest.
Sandwich lease, is this like a triple net lease?
No, it's. Have you ever heard of subletting?
Yeah.
It's more like that.
Okay. So whenever you sublet your property and you're still responsible for the property, but somebody else is living there and paying for
Yeah, exactly.
it. Okay. Secondary mortgage market. It's whenever you get a second mortgage on your property, but
No, 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 nope. This is that resale marketplace.
Right.
All right. So, when they buy and sell loans,
Right.
so that's what that is.
Man, I'm knowing this on so many tests, and it's just drawing a blank on me right now. I don't know. Maybe we can come back to it, or you can just tell me. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, that's just according to value. It's just Latin for according to value.
Okay.
Yeah, that's one you definitely want to nail down because it's one of those just straight up vocabulary ones.
Right. Real property is anything that's attached to land.
Good.
Executory is pending.
Mm-hmm.
Net lease is either legal. No, it's net listing. Net lease is whenever you pay the property taxes and all the maintenance and everything yourself while
Good.
renting.
Yeah, it's also known as a triple net lease, tax insurance and maintenance. Very common with commercial property.
Uh, Government powers is police power. That's taxation, eminent domain, and that's cheap.
Good. Yeah, that's one we went over before. You remember Pete, police
Mm.
power, and domain taxation is cheap.
Hold harmless clause. I've heard this before and I haven't studied it, but just from going off the top of my head, I think it's just um, basically the seller can't be can't get in trouble for.
It's more for the agent. The agent can't get in trouble.
Okay.
That's for. So the agents, releases liabilities on certain things.
Okay.
Okay.
Specific lien would be like a mortgage.
Good. Because they come after one thing specifically. Going to your point before, if your house gets foreclosed on, they can't come after your car.
Right. Encumbrances. Um, this one for some reason is tricking me because it's like it has a very vague definition. It's almost anything from a lien to an easement or anything on a property.
Yeah, it's just anything that limits your property.
Okay.
That's all it is. So you're right. It could be a lot of different things. It's anything that's limiting.
Unilateral contract is whenever one person has an option to do something or to uphold
There's only one obligation.
one obligation.
The example I used to make it real simple is a lost dog sign.
Right.
Because if you see that, do you have to go look for the dog?
No.
But if you find the dog, do they have to pay you?
Yes.
Yeah, so it's unilateral. Can you give me the real estate example of that?
A lease option or option to buy.
Excellent. Perfect. Good.
Primary mortgage market. Would that be like FHA?
No, FHA is insurance. Primary mortgage market is where you get loans from like commercial banks when you and I would just get a loan for the house.
Okay.
And secondary market is when they buy those loans.
Gotcha.
FHA is just a government program that insures loans.
Right. Abstract of title is a summary of the title history.
Good.
Percentage lease, seen a lot in like malls and commercial. Whenever you're paying a certain rate plus a certain percentage if you go over a certain amount.
Well, yeah, the term they like to use percentage of your gross receipts.
Okay.
Percentage of the money coming in.
Taxes.
Yeah, it's the way government makes money, and it's one of the government powers you mentioned before.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't pay your taxes, right, general
Mm-hmm.
lien or specific lien?
General.
Depends. So that's kind of a trick question. If it's income taxes, it's general. If it's property tax, it's specific.
I got you. Trade fixture is any kind of business that's allowed to take their personal property out at or before the end of the lease.
So is it real or personal?
Personal.
Excellent. Good job.
Physical deterioration is I think that's just whenever something can be fixed, and just like a bad roof or anything like on the outside, or no.
Yeah, basically your property's falling apart.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sometimes it's pretty simple, right?
All right.
Okay.
Anytime somebody does manual labor for you and you don't pay.
Good. General or specific lien?
Specific.
Good.
Principle of regression. It's whenever the lower valued homes are bringing down the value of your home.
Good.
Or the bigger property, I guess. I think anti-trucks are they promote competition.
Good. It's there to make sure there's free market competition. So you hear things like that violate are like price fixing, group boycotting, things of that nature.
Right. Down zoning. Is that whenever there is, let's say, they turn a commercial district into a single family district, or like 6 stories into everything has to be less than 6.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Grandfather clause, I think, is also non-conformant whenever they make new zoning laws, but if you're in before, then you kind of get grandfathered in to be okay for a certain amount of time.
Excellent.
Is it non-conformant? Is that the other word for it?
Yeah, it just means that you had a right and you get to maintain that right even if the local ordinances change.
Yeah. Fee simple estate is properties that you own. So like fee simple absolute would be no holds or anything like that on your estate.
Is it free of encumbrances?
The fee simple?
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember, there's always taxes.
Oh, yeah. Fee simple to feasible just says that uh, you can do anything but like one thing or two things, whatever's on the title itself, and if you don't comply to that, then you can lose your property.
Good. Yeah, it has what they call a condition subsequent.
Variance. It's another one that I used to know too. Um, I don't know.
It's just an exception to the rule.
Ah,
Yeah, it's just when you're building your property, if you need an exception to the rule, that will not affect anybody else.
correct. Yeah. Impounds. I've never heard of that one in real estate.
It's the way the lender collects taxes and insurance. Because who gets paid back first? The lender, the taxes, or the insurance?
Tax.
Right? The lender gets paid back last. So what they'll do sometimes is create an impound account to make sure those things are collected.
Gotcha. Abandonment, just whenever you leave your property.
Good.
Eminent domain is the right for the government to get your property for the betterment of the community.
Excellent.
Functional obsolescence is like a 6-bedroom, 1/2 bath or half bath or something like that.
Good.
It's just not functional. Fair Housing Act just protects anybody from using race or natural origin or sex or family status.
What year?
1968.
Good. Excellent.
Capitalization approach is well, I guess it says it there. The income approach is whenever you use the rent to establish a value for the property.
Just remember this: it converts income into value.
Income into value. Bilateral contract is whenever two people a promise for a promise.
Good.
Appreciation, just whenever your property goes up in value.
Good.
I don't know.
It's an amendment to a contract.
Ah. Building codes are just what you can and can't do.
Good. Well, it's things like you need a handrail on a stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Void contract is just it doesn't hold any value.
Good. What are the 4 essentials of a valid contract?
I don't know. It has to be legal, of course.
Good. Lawful object. Excellent.
It's you have to have consent.
Okay.
So consideration,
Good.
lawful object,
So you said lawful object, consideration, mutual consent, and capable parties.
capable.
Yeah.
Judgment lien is um, you might can correct me on this. For some reason, I'm thinking like a judgment lien is a court-ordered lien, of course, but I think it's whenever it gives the right for somebody to go to sell your personal and real property.
Yeah. So remember this: it's a general involuntary lien, which is basically the fancy way of saying exactly what you're saying.
Gotcha.
General involuntary lien.
Lot busting, going to somebody's property and saying that those people are moving in, and so you might want to sell now.
Good.
Quiet title action. Is it like a form of a quit claim deed?
Good. Clearing the title. Quitclaim deed is much more general than that. Quitclaim deed is just an immediate transfer.
Okay. Essential elements of value, scarcity, transferability, utility, and demand.
Good.
Littoral rights are like your lakes, oceans.
Not ocean.
Okay, lakes. That's right, because it's not moving. Any non-moving.
Well, actually, it could be an ocean. I take that back. I'm sorry. Littoral rights are generally things that are not moving. Riparian rights is when the water's moving.
Right.
Yes, you're actually right. My bad.
Commingling is mixing earnest money with your personal checking account.
Good.
Less than freehold estate is like a lease or a tenant.
Can you name the 4 less than freehold estates?
Um, Life estate.
Nope, that's a freehold estate.
Okay, perfect. All right. Stay for years.
Good.
State at sufferance.
Good.
Periodic.
Good.
And crap.
Estate at will.
Oh, I had it and I didn't say it. Dadgummit. All right. RESPA is, I can't really remember the actual like abbreviation for it, but I know it has to do with like kickbacks.
Good. So it's Real Estate Settlement Procedures Act.
Okay.
You're right. It has to do with kickbacks.
I mean, actual fraud is actual fraud. It's knowing and then telling somebody.
Yeah. So the big thing it's the key thing you said there is the knowledge that you're doing it rather than doing it accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just being misinformed. This is knowing. Like negative fraud would be if you just thought you were saying the right thing, but really you were wrong.
Mm-hmm. Net listing is illegal in Alabama, but it's basically whenever an owner wants $100,000, and if you sell it over that, then you can get whatever profit is made.
Good.
Title is ownership. Riparian rights is any kind of moving river streams.
Good.
I don't know why I'm forgetting these words that I used to have a good thing on. I don't know.
It's when you have authority by way of your actions and them accepting your actions.
Okay.
Okay. Let me get this one out of here.
Exclusive listing is a listing with just one agency, but if the owner sells himself, I guess that's an exclusive agency listing.
Right. So exclusive listing is when it's
Just one
more
agent.
general, which means there's just one broker.
Yeah.
So different types of exclusive listing, exclusive agency, exclusive right to sell, which is different.
Right.